Okay, welcome. My name is Nick. I'm living in Japan. I have a Japanese wife and three kids. I came to Japan about 11, 12, 13 years ago, and I I came pretty much because my wife was Japanese, and she was going to have her first child. So I scrambled to get a job, and the only job I really could get was an English teaching job. And so I did that, and I packed up my schedule full of classes for at least 1 year in Japan before we returned back to Australia for 1 or 2 years and came back to Japan. But during the early stages of when I was in Japan, um, it was quite an interesting experience. And actually, I started in Nova, which was a huge company, and they provided a lot of training. They paid half the wage um, at the middle part of the month because in Japan you get paid every month. So you have to be careful about your finance, but luckily they had something in place. It was kind of an established company. And they got me sorted with all the different paperworks and everything like that. And actually working for a big Eikaiwa company right at the start was very beneficial for me because they have a lot of support. But after maybe 6 months to a year, it becomes like a brain dead type of job where you do the same thing day in, day out, and there's really a big lack of creativity involved. Like, if you want to come to Japan to be a teacher, you don't become a teacher like that. You become a laboratory robot, pretty much. And even the interactions with the students was very organized, I would say. Each part of the class is broken up into compartments. They did actually have a voice room, where you could do your own little, where it was just talking basically, which was quite interesting. But spending 1 hour talking, sometimes to the same people it's okay, but to some people who don't talk, it's quite hard. You would say, "Oh, how was your day?" "Oh, it's good." "What did you do?" "Not much. Same as usual." And doing that for an hour is difficult. Also, some students kind of get infatuated with you, and then the other teachers kind of say, "Oh, you have your own little fan club," but which is kind of annoying. But it's also interesting at the same time. Lots of different characters, and yeah, that voice was quite interesting. Wonderful way to learn, but not such a good business model. I don't think it was very profitable for Nova. And if I was maybe the manager, I would consider getting rid of it because even though it's popular with the students, but it's detracting them from becoming students. But anyway, the staff were amazing as well, and yeah, I enjoyed the interactions with all the teachers, and I didn't talk to the staff much, but the teachers were amazing. I also worked in GABA. GABA was interesting, but it was going through the transition phase of becoming a more corporate company. So less bonuses, less incentives, cheaper wage, old teachers becoming angry, and new teachers not knowing anything. Yeah, that was quite an interesting transition time. And now I think they're moving more for like these type of contracts where you have to stay there 6 months or a year and promise a certain amount of hours. But before it wasn't like that. The materials in GABA were okay. The students pay a lot of money, but it's a 40-minute lesson. Five or so minutes warm up, 5 or so minutes wind up, and there's only so much you can do in that short time. And it's nice, very small cubicles where you teach man-to-man lesson. I guess that's all that's needed. I guess it must be best for B2B, just GABA approaching companies and getting the companies employees to join. But lesson-wise, I guess it's hard. It's hard not to feel like I'm not sure. It wasn't so comfortable in that GABA. The wage was so-so, just maybe about $10, $15, $1,400 yen lesson. If you do 2 back-to-back lessons, you'd probably get maybe 2,000 yen per hour, $20. But like sometimes the schedule fills up, sometimes it doesn't. If you're a popular teacher, that's great. If you're not, then you're screwed. You won't make money. And if you're not a popular teacher, you might get 3 stars or less out of 5. So if you get 3 stars or less, then especially if you get 2 or 1 star, that's terrible. If you get 3 stars or less, then the supervisor comes. I want to talk to you. It seems like this student is having a problem. Do you know why? Could you think of some reasons how you could improve? This never really happened too much with me, as I was a young, genki little teacher. So what I lacked in experience at the time, I made up with energy and passion. So I didn't really have too much of a problem with my students. And it generally went okay. But the problem was that I was teaching a lot, like maybe like 100 classes a month or 200, maybe just under 200 or something. And so when you teach that amount, to get like a 3-star or less lesson, because every lesson the students rate you, to get a 3-star or less lesson was quite easy. I mean, it's bound to happen. So, and if you do that, first of all, if you get 3 stars or 2, hopefully not 2 stars or 1 star, that would be terrible. Then you lose what this type of like certification they give you. And if you get a certification, you can get a higher wage per lesson. Maybe they give you 100 yen extra, or 200 yen extra, $1 or $2 extra per lesson. If you get those 3, 2, or 1 star, then you can kiss that goodbye and you're back to studying and waiting like a couple of months to get the next certification. Then for it to kick in, which is another 1 or 2 months, you just wasted a whole bunch of time just getting all those stars. But of course, if you're a very highly educated, highly skilled, very genki, very professional, smooth talking teacher, you get all the certifications, you get all the lessons and regular clients, and hopefully they give you good scores every time. You don't have to worry about that. If you're not, if you're like the rest of us, then you have a problem. So there's a lot of pressure I found in GABA for what they give you. They need to offer more to the teachers and probably less to the staff and management, because there's a lot of staff working in GABA. I worked in Arthur's English, which was a private English school. Ace English, which was house to house. I worked in Bunkyoku Elementary and Junior High School, teaching 40 kids in one class, which was I did that for maybe 1 year as an ALT. And each teacher you work with is different. Sometimes you're just a tape recorder. Nick, read this. The kids went to the park. Great. Can you read it one more time? Okay. The kids went to the park. But other teachers, they like stand in the corner. Go ahead. Everyone stand up, sit down, hands on head, whatever your lesson plan was. And at that time, my company wasn't too organized, so I pretty much did the most lesson planning myself. But I now know Interact was the company, but Interact now provides a lot of materials you do in the lesson and lesson plans and everything like that. So could be good. But if you have experience, most likely you don't need that. And, you just need a good curriculum, and that's it. And by curriculum, I mean like today I'm going to do ABCs, next week I'm going to do this, next week I'm going to do this. And just that theme for the day, and you can just do everything after that. At that time, the Japanese government provided these new English-focused textbooks, which were totally useless. It's a joke. Oh my gosh. The kids learned that material in all their jukus and eikaiwas and whatever. So we teach, hello, how are you? Repeat after me. And they, of course, know it by heart, like from years ago. So that was interesting. Arthur's English, though, was quite interesting for me because I actually needed to teach. I took hold of a class, and the topic was maybe a newspaper or newsletter, or the kids was like, let's go book. And they just, just do whatever, just make them happy, teach. And that was a very big growing experience for me. I had to think about how to level up the people, how to make them happy, how to make them keep coming back. Very minimal micromanaging. I could get the feedback from the Japanese staff, and it was fun to work there as well. Students were superb, but it was a very big growing experience, and I really enjoyed that. And that prepared me for SSA, which is my company. I work with a partnership at the moment in Tsuchigaoka, Musashi Sakai, and Mitaka. We have 3 branches. And now I'm opening a new school in Kokubunji called Hanson English. Hanson English is more like a project school. And I did the registration, everything myself. Everything from the ground up, no help so far from anyone. And my business partner, Kyle, he wasn't too comfortable to invest in a new location at this moment, for financial reasons. I really liked the location, so I decided to go ahead, and he agreed, of course. So, no hard feelings, of course. So anyway, I'll talk more about Hanson English later, but that's where I got up to so far. And my hope is that my hope I can document this process of being in Japan, starting companies, making money, living a life, and hopefully in the future maybe laugh about these situations. In Japan, it's becoming better, but foreigners don't tend to have a lot of options. And if you want to come to Japan and you don't have an amazing amount of money, Yeah, you're very limited in what you can do. It's not like if you go to Australia or England or America or other places and you can start a new life and try new projects and different things like that. But going through the processes, getting bank loans, going to the registration office, doing the tax, all the processes and everything. I really wonder how a normal person who might be taking Japanese classes, but how just a normal person could do that. Like, my wife is Japanese, and that has helped me tremendously. Of course, you can do it without a Japanese wife, and I'll talk about that later. But it's a wonderful country, but and the people are very friendly, but you do need a helping hand. Okay, that's it for now. Peace.